On to the other top story that we're tracking right here. The Supreme Court has asked the Attorney General to respond to a petition challenging the controversial Section 66A in the IT Act. The Apex Court had listed hearing in the public interest litigation filed by a student. This even as the government circulated new guidelines on how to enforce the controversial section following the Facebook arrest controversy. It says prior approval from the Deputy Commissioner or an IGP level officer is needed before the station house officers can register such complaints. Sources saying the government is acting on civil society fears that the Maharashtra incident is not justified and that Section 66A of the IT Act is unconstitutional and open to misinterpretation. Now, this government action comes at a time that the latest case came out. A 19-year-old boy was questioned for hours in Maharashtra yesterday after his Facebook account was allegedly hacked into and used to abuse the MNS chief Raj Thackeray. Now, the boy maintains that he never wrote those controversial posts. He believes it was written to create enmity in Palghar, where a large number of North Indians live. The boy was questioned about the post and let off yesterday after the MNS complained. A case has been filed against an unknown person under the IT Act. The Thane Cybercrime is in the process of tracking that hacker.
ये बताइए कि कल आपके फेसबुक अकाउंट से क्या हुआ और आपको कब पता चला कि आपके अकाउंट से कुछ लिखा गया था?
मुझे ये बात सुबह पता चली। जो हमारे एरिया के एक लड़के ने सुबह आके बोला क्या ये तूने ये क्या किया है, ये तो बहुत बड़ी गलती किया, तेरे फेसबुक से ऐसा हुआ। तो मुझे पता चला कि मेरे फेसबुक से कोई छेड़छाड़ी हुई है। तो इसमें माननीय श्री राज ठाकरे इनके और मराठी मानुस के बारे में उनको चेतावनी दी गई थी।
तो अगर वो आपसे विश्वास करते तो वो आपको पुलिस स्टेशन लेके नहीं जाते?
नहीं, पब्लिक बहुत भड़क चुकी थी, इसलिए वहाँ वो मनसे के कार्यकर्ता कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रही थी। शायद से उसी के वजह से मुझे पुलिस स्टेशन में भेजा गया, जो वहाँ अच्छी तरह से जांच पड़ताल हो जाती और यदि अगर मैं निर्दोष हूँ तो ये निर्दोष साबित हो जाएगा। ये मुझे भी पूरा फुल टू क्लियर था।
So that situation could have blown up, but it didn't. Now, we did ask people, what do you think about all of this? Do you think it's time, the time has come to change these IT laws? Here's what people from Chennai and Mumbai had to say.
How can a same republic have two kind of situations? You are allowed to have a freedom of speech and then you're put behind the bars for even expressing what you want. So yes, there definitely has to be a change in the law.
They're threatening us, saying that we will arrest you if you do say something about it. So changing the law does not change people's opinions about things. More than the law, I feel there should be restricted use of power. If you're a policeman, you have different working hours and you have different rules. You can't just take it on somebody because you feel it's wrong.
India is a democratic country. Every people has the right to speak.
Facebook and other mass media allow you to share your own views with the people, but it's not like you hurt the mass emotions.
Everyone has a right to express their views. I agree that the way they have expressed their views was wrong, but I feel the actions taken were more wronger than that.
So the action taken was perhaps more wrong. Well, let's get into this by speaking to Pavan Duggal, the Cyberlaw expert, and of course Ankit Vengurlekar, who's also joining us on this story. Mr. Duggal, I'm going to come to you first. All of this happening at a time that now the government perhaps could be acting under some kind of pressure. We have a petition that's reached the Supreme Court about that contentious Section 66 of the IT Act that's open for misuse. What do you have to say about these developments? Because I know you've been tracking this rather closely.
I believe that the government needs to address the foundation of all problems, the mother of all problems under the IT Act, which is Section 66A. Now that is a section that requires amendment because it's per se ultra-virus the Constitution. It goes far beyond the reasonable restrictions on freedom of speech and expression that even the Constitution imposes under Article 19(2). And the kind of arbitrariness that Section 66A grants to the complainant and to the police are clearly very vast in nature. And the government today stating that they want to come up with guidelines that a case under Section 66A would have to be only registered after prior approval of the SSP or the IGP clearly does not cut any eyes. You know, you're trying to actually repair your leaking roof by putting a band-aid. It won't work. And in any case, these guidelines, even if they come up, they still don't fundamentally change Section 66A. That potentiality of abuse and misuse is an inherent part of that section. Until such time, you either do not amend it or make it extremely narrow to come within the ambit of protection provided by the Constitution of India, this section will continue to be a tool for oppression and suppression of legitimate online speech in the hands of the powerful and the almighty. All
right. So, Mr. Duggal, you're telling us that this section actually needs to be amended or changed completely. That is really otherwise going to remain dangerous. I just want to bring in Ankit Venulekar into this debate. Ankit, you know, the latest controversy that took place with that 19-year-old boy saying that act was actually misused. His Facebook account was actually hacked to create enmity between two communities. This is very dangerous territory that we're looking at. How can people perhaps protect themselves from all of this?
Absolutely. You know, I wouldn't like to oversimplify this, but if I was to give an analogy, we have to take, you know, reference from what we've been doing, thousands of years of human civilization has been doing. How do we keep ourselves safe at home? I guess if one uses similar common sense online, you know, in all of their online behavior, one can remain pretty safe over there. So we ensure that our house is, you know, secure, it's guarded, it's got all the locks in place, which means all your online accounts, all your passwords, you have to make sure, you know, you constantly keep restructuring and changing your passwords at least every fortnight, because even passwords are pretty easy to crack by hardcore hackers. Apart from that, what do? You know, if God forbid there's a theft or a robbery in the house, you report it to the police, right? You bring it to the law enforcement agency's attention. So likewise, if anything happens where you think your online identity or critical personal information has been compromised, or somebody has, you know, posted malicious content from your account, from your credentials, I think it's best to go and report it yourself to law enforcement agencies instead of, you know, draconian laws like 66A coming and getting you. So I believe, you know, a little self-precaution. They say charity begins at home. I say security begins at home, and it has to do with you.
All right, Ankit, thanks a lot. And Mr. Pavan Duggal also for joining us on this chat.